Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Daily Meditations with Parker and Lindsay. I'm Lindsay, and today I want to talk about rest and exhaustion. Um, my guess is that probably a lot of us are going to be feeling more tired, more exhausted than usual. And I just want to say that if you're experiencing that, that is super normal. There's a lot that we're processing that's like underneath the surface that some of it we might be aware of, but some of it is just kind of like our mind and our body are having to process so much more than usual. If you are on campus, you might be having to negotiate like mask wearing with your friends or meeting new people. If you're online and at home, you might be navigating like what's been called Zoom fatigue, which is where there's this kind of like just like a little bit of delay between what we say and how people react. And that kind of lack of like real-time social cues actually exhausts our body. Um, and then of course, like you might just be having anxiety around COVID and not getting sick and wanting family members and loved ones not to get sick. And then if you're a person of color and you're on a predominantly white campus, especially around a time of heightened awareness around racial injustice, that can be really exhausting to navigate. So I just want to say that if you're feeling exhausted, that's totally normal, and also it's okay to rest. And I say that it's okay to rest, but I also want to validate that for many of us that are living in this dominant culture, that it can be really uncomfortable and even scary to rest. We live in a culture where like we just value productivity so much, and we don't live in a culture that values rest. So it makes sense that it would be hard to rest at times. And because of this cultural norm, for many of us, we feel like our worth is based upon our performance. We feel like we need to be extroverted, productive, getting stuff done all the time. But we are not machines. We need rest. Our brains need rest. Our bodies need rest. If you're a musician or you're into music, you know that a melody is nothing without rest in between the sounds. That's actually what makes the music beautiful, is the silence. So we're going to do a meditation on rest, and we're actually going to use some sound. So I have a meditation bell here, and I'd like you to get into a comfortable position. So you can be sitting up, or you can be lying down, you can be standing. And then just close your eyes or let your gaze soften. Take a couple deeper breaths. You might notice at the end of your exhale that there's a little bit moment of a pause, that you can just tune into that moment of rest in between the end of your exhale and the beginning of your inhale. And just allow your body to settle into the support of the earth beneath you. Okay, so I'm going to ring this bell, and just open your ears, listening to the sound, and see if you can particularly pay attention to the moment that the sound ends, that moment of auditory rest. I'll do it a couple more times. do it one more time and just really allow your ears to open, letting your body be soft, and noticing that moment that the sound ends as a moment of rest. Okay, and then just continue to listen to sounds in the world around you. There might be sounds of cars outside, or maybe people talking in the background, maybe the hum of a air conditioner or a fan, closing and opening of doors, just whatever sounds you hear in the world around you. And then pay particular attention to the moment that a sound ends, or the moment that a sound gets a little bit quieter. So we're paying attention to auditory rest. Noticing how in the world of sounds, there are always moments of rest. And there might be moments where there are no sounds and you're just listening to silence. And that might feel a little bit, for some people, like uneasy. So just noticing if that feels uneasy and not bringing any judgment or criticism to yourself. Just making space for whatever shows up. And if the silence feels relaxing or peaceful, then you can just enjoy that silence, the rest of sound, rest in between sound. Okay, great. So now just take a moment to drop into your body. And see if you can notice any parts of your body where there's some rest, some relaxation, some ease. So just kind of go inside and scan around your body and see where you can find even just a little bit of relaxation, a little bit of softness or ease. I notice when I pay attention, my lips feel a little soft. My belly actually feels a little soft right now. There might be areas of your body where there's not much sensation at all. And that actually can be a profound experience of rest. Just like the silence in between the sound, we can have kind of like silence in our body. You can just check that out. What's it like to have parts of our body where we don't actually feel that much? And see if it is a restful experience when you bring your attention there. And it can feel really kind of uneasy at times to focus on rest because we're so used to this doing, this kind of activity. Sometimes even when there's like moments of kind of silence or rest in our minds, it can feel kind of like, whoa, where am I? But if you're willing to just kind of open up to that, kind of be countercultural in your meditation and allow your body to heal, allow the tension to unwind without forcing anything. Just letting rest unwind as it will, unfold as it will. Okay, so I'll close the meditation with a couple more sounds of the bell. Again, just kind of open your attention to the bell. Notice that moment where the bell like starts to lower and then just vanishes. Okay, so if your eyes are closed, you can open your eyes. And just an encouragement, if you want to check this out throughout your day, maybe you're like walking to class or you're at home, just take a few moments here and there just to kind of like listen. Maybe you're like at your computer, you can set a timer, maybe like every 30 minutes or so, you just stop, you just open your ears and listen and see if you can find the rest in between sounds. Or if you notice yourself kind of like pushing and forcing and kind of like going into this like, really intense drive mode, but you're actually really exhausted, see if you'd be willing to, again, be like countercultural and just stop and let your body kind of settle. There may be some tension that's kind of built up and just let that unwind and see if you can find some, even just little bits of rest in your body throughout the day. Okay, so if you want to also do a positive affirmation with me, you can say this out loud or in your mind, that it's okay to rest. It's okay to rest. It's okay to rest. And just remember, whatever happens today, you are totally fabulous, you are wise, you are resilient, and you are worthy of so much love. Hopefully we'll see you this evening for the next meditation. We're going to continue on this theme of rest.